Happy Sunday and welcome to Sunday service, September 5th, 2021. Bro, can you freaking believe it's September?
Dude, it's insane. I was thinking about that today. I'm like, man, we only have a couple more months for 2021 and we're already going to be in 2022. The time just continues to fly by year by year, honestly.
Crazy. And, I think about a couple of things. One, it was interesting. You and I had about a 45-minute conversation today about buying real estate, strategizing and realizing we only have September, October, November, and really that's really it, because the reality is half of December is eaten up and title companies don't really come to bat, right? They're all slow. Sellers are slow, non-reactive. Everything's different in December. And we've talked about this in the past where you almost want to turn your business off from like December 5th until 15th until like January 5th so that you don't have to worry about that real big slowdown. But that's one thing, is how we only have 3 months. The other thing I think about is like, think about all these people that are trying to get into this business and how life goes so fast, right? You and I have been partners for a number of years now. Well, we've been partners over 2 years now, but it seems like 2 weeks ago, right? Everything moves so fast, and all the people we've hired and all the people we've let go and all the people we've promoted and all the people who have, changed job titles because we realize who they are. And it's like, you really have to have a lot of time to let your business breathe and figure out what you want to do and where you want to invest and all that kind of stuff. Like, there's no time to waste. Time goes by way too stinking fast.
Yeah, 100%. So you have to make the most of it in all areas of life.
Yes, absolutely. And honestly, that's one of the things I was thinking about today, of like, what is a perfect week for me? Let's say that you put $1 billion in my pocket, right? Because I don't think I'm at my full financial goal for my whole legacy. Like, yes, you and I have assets. Yes, we have good, income producing businesses, all that kind of stuff. But like, are my grandchildren's grandchildren going to look at me and go, dude, Grandpa Pace really put the work in? I don't think I'm at that number yet. So let's say you throw $1 billion in my pocket and I go, money is not the issue. Legacy is not the issue. I'm going to leave something amazing for my children's children, all that kind of stuff. What would be my perfect week? What would be my perfect week? And I'm so busy, like, thinking about working and creating and doing all these things that I really haven't stopped to think about that. And I'm reading right now, Tony Robbins' book, the one that's like 28 hours of audio. And he talked about how the statistic says that the more you make money, the more you want to just go create more and do more and all that kind of stuff. Like, the creators and the doers of the world will always be creators and doers, right? And then I started thinking about all these cool things that you and I have on the horizon and all these fun things that you, me, and Matt are going to build and all that kind of stuff. And I'm just like, got to get the work done. Because everything moves so fast. Guys, are we in the final quarter yet? We're not quite in the final quarter. We got one more month.
Yep, this is the third quarter, ends at the end of September.
Freaking crazy. Final quarter. So anyway, guys, we're going to do general Q&A today. So whatever questions you guys have, I see a couple of questions in the side chat. We're going to talk about those. Cody and I are going to go. He's going to do a question. I'll do a question. Cody will do a question. I'll do a question. We'll just do Q&A today. And I want you guys to throw them up in the chat. Let's go through and answer your guys' questions, see what kind of value we can provide. And then as a community here on Sunday service, we will determine what next week's schedule is going to look like. Okay. So Cody and I were talking about how we've made enough money this year that we actually have a problem. Like, mo money, mo problems, huh, dude?
Yeah. I mean, so Friday, I'm having a call, which this is the amazing thing about as you start building your businesses up, is you get to bring on amazing talent to help you, continue to be more and more successful. And so on Friday, I'm on a 2-hour call with our CFO, Michael, our bookkeeper, Tony, and then our CPA, Dustin. and we're going through each business, each entity, going through different questions and things. And at the end of that call, Dustin, our CPA, says, well, it's like, it's a good problem, but it's still a problem. But you guys are going to have a pretty significant tax bill if you don't go and buy, $4 more million worth of real estate this year. So pretty much gave us that homework. And he's like, I don't know, I think you guys are just going to get stuck with paying it. And so that immediately put me in this mode of, I'm not paying it. We're going to figure it out. And I put together a spreadsheet. I'm like, we can allocate these properties that we're going to flip. We're going to turn those into rentals now, and all of these different things. And I just know, just because of, who we are, and when we set our minds to something, we're going to, we'll make it happen. We still got a couple of months left and to get that taken care of. But that's one thing that I'm so grateful for, just within the real estate industry, is we can do that, because you and I both have a lot of friends in other industries that are high earners, and they get wrecked on taxes, like absolutely wrecked, like paying hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of thousands of dollars in taxes, and they don't have any opportunities at write-offs, really significant ones anyway.
Yeah, it's you and I have a cheat code, bro.
It is.
We're
it
in
literally
the best industry.
Cheat code.
Best industry. We're in the best position. We, man, we're just blessed. I can't imagine trying to even have anybody else's life. Like, we've really, truly created the perfect lives for ourselves. What a fun little thing. And it all started at McDonald's, So guys, we've got a ton of great questions in here. So Real Cal says, can't you depreciate the properties, Cody?
Yes, you can. That's what we're talking about doing, is, taking these properties that we were maybe going to flip and doing, a little bit of the BRRRR strategy to turn those just into regular rentals, and then using depreciation for write-offs. And then what are we doing, Pace? Like, what is that strategy that we're utilizing to be able to get more depreciation write-off?
So there's 5 ways to get tax benefits from rental income or rental properties, or owning a property, because it could be your second property you get tax benefits on as well. And those are straight line depreciation. And we did a whole Sunday service on this, all about depreciation and tax benefits. So we won't deep dive on it now. I'll push you guys to go back to the YouTube channel and go watch that. Just type in Sunday service depreciation or Sunday service tax benefits. And there's 5 ways to get amazing tax benefits. And we use the third one, which is bonus depreciation, which allows us to take 5 to 7 years of the depreciation all up front, which is amazing. And right now, Cody and I are working on some cost segregation on either an 8-plex or something similar, depending on what we end up getting under contract. We're now at a point where we're turning down properties because it just doesn't fit what we're looking for from a tax advantage, right? Like, yes, we obviously are always looking for cash flow, but guys, I'm telling you, I tell the sub 2 students this all the time. Like, there's buyers out there just like you and I, Cody, that are buying strictly for the tax purposes, and everything else is a bonus. It's like, oh, mortgage pay down. Oh, appreciation. Oh, cash flow. Great. Those are all amazing. But you know what? I just don't want to write a check to Uncle Sam at the end of the year for $400,000 freaking dollars. Right.
Yeah.
And I personally believe, this is going to come across a little bit critical, but I personally believe that real estate investors that are not buying rental properties to offset their income from like wholesaling or fix and flipping or what have you, you might as well just cut your profitability in half, because at the end of the year, you're going to pay half your money in taxes. Whereas, Cody, what was your total tax bill last year?
0.
I think I paid 11 grand because I paid myself.
I forgot I paid myself a small W-2. So I did pay a little bit on that. But
yeah, so both you and I on our corporate sides, we paid 0 corporate tax whatsoever. None of our LLCs paid any tax, which is awesome. But we do pay ourselves a little bit of money. I paid myself, I think, 35 grand last year, which is such a joke, but it's like the smallest amount I could pay myself personally. But all the millions of dollars that we made in our businesses, it's like, you don't pay any tax on that. But I paid, I think $8,000 or $10,000 on the $35,000 I made. So think about that. Somebody who made $35,000 would have paid 10,000 of their 35 to the government, 30% of it. Whereas the millions of dollars got paid nothing, absolutely nothing. So guys, if you're not using depreciation and you're not using tax benefits, you're missing literally 80% of this real estate game. I know we talk a lot about wholesaling and getting into the game, and depreciation can be a scary word, because when have you used depreciation at the dinner table, or when you're on a first date with a girl, you ask, what's your favorite depreciation strategy? No, these are not normal conversations that come up. And so these are not normal terminology. And so people get a little bit fearful of them, but yes, we do. Absolutely do use them. Alex, I got a property in West Palm Beach, 990, a perfect tax write-off property. I love it. That's really, really cool. Guys, by the way, you'll see Christina, Solara, and a handful of other students in here. We've got well over 200 people watching tonight. It'll probably creep over probably close to 350 to 400 live viewers tonight between a couple of YouTube channels. The sub 2 students and Cody and my mastermind students are unbelievably helpful. So if you guys are new to the business and you need some help, don't hesitate to reach out to the students. Okay. Look in the side chat. You'll see the students putting their names in there, all that kind of stuff. Okay. So let me get a good question for you. Okay. Well, so Lynn Monet, she's a great student. She's amazing on the phone. She's awesome. She says, I'm worried about taxes as well. I can't qualify for tax law, needs to change. I'm going to tell you guys something really interesting. Cody and I do not ever follow what the Biden administration is doing. We don't follow what anybody is doing in the government unless it pertains to changing the tax benefits of real estate. We don't care about politics. We don't care about what's going on at all. In fact, you and I never talk about this, do we?
No.
Like, we never sit down and talk about what is Biden doing, or what's Trump doing, or what's this person doing. Let's base our strategy on what these guys are doing. Never have we done that, guys. We base our strategy on the tax law entirely, because those are things that we can control. Those are the things we can understand and work ourselves around. I can't work around some president's Twitter account. I can't work around, some president's inability to speak coherently. We can't do any of that. So at the end of the day, we only focus on what tax strategies are already written in the IRS code. And the best way to do that is through rental properties, guys. Buy rental properties utilizing creative finance is the fastest way to do it. I mean, you and I were talking about an 8-plex, by the way, today. And guys, I want everybody to write this down. This is an interesting thing. Every time I bring this up, people don't understand it. Cody finds this 8-plex in a place that most people wouldn't think that Cody found this 8-plex. Okay. Let's take guesses in the side chat, everybody. I want you to guess where Cody found this deal. You won't guess it. And maybe I'm wrong. Maybe you will. But people just don't understand this is where you can find a lot of good creative finance deals. It's an 8-plex in one of the hottest cities in Arizona, Tempe, Arizona. It's an 8-plex on seller finance. Where did we find that deal, guys? Let's see if anybody's got some guesses. Ooh, dang it. Somebody got it. Freddie H. You got it. MLS. MLS. Cody, how many, if you did a search right now on the MLS for seller carryback, seller finance, any of that kind of stuff on the MLS, are you going to find a handful of properties?
Oh, they're not a handful, hundreds. There's hundreds.
Guys, listen to this.
Doesn't mean they're great terms, but they're
well, that's up to you to negotiate, right?
Right. Exactly.
But at least they're open. They've already raised their hand and said, I don't care about your credit. I don't care about your worthiness. I care more about the down payment and whatever else. So we get people that DM Cody and I all the time and say, how do I get my first seller finance or creative finance deal? And it's like, for what? Is it for rental? Are you trying to build a direct to seller model like Cody and I have? Direct to seller, for those of you guys that don't know, means that we're going directly to the seller, whether it's door knocking, we're texting them, we're calling them, we're directly communicating with the sellers of houses in distress. So you could go distress or to the zero to hero rei.com to like learn how to go direct to seller. That's zero to hero rei.com. Or you could go to the MLS if you're, but these people are like, I'm not looking for my rental property. I need to find a house for myself and I can't qualify for a loan. Then go to the MLS. How quickly could you pull a search up, Cody?
I already pulled it up. There's 120 that came up.
Show me, give me a screenshot or like show me a screen share of just like show people what the MLS looks like that they've heard the word MLS, but they have no idea what that means.
One sec here. Can you see my screen?
I can now. It's loading right now. There it is. Boom. Amazing. So you've got a list of let's
120.
120 properties on seller finance. Guys, 120 properties right now available on seller finance. People just do not understand this.
Bunch of them. So
if you're looking for a deal and you like, we're looking at an 8-plex right now that Cody found on the MLS. Now, Cody, how do we indicate that? In my opinion, sellers typically on the MLS are, they're willing to go to a realtor and they're willing to go through the pain and agony of dealing with a realtor. Nothing against realtors, but you guys make things a little bit more challenging. So how do we know this particular 8-plex seller actually has some pain?
I mean, it's really just having the conversation with the agent. I reached out to the agent today, but I just hadn't heard back yet. I mean,
how like maybe days on market, maybe, how length of ownership.
That one's been on the market for like 600 days. So
okay, so you're telling me somebody has an 8-plex on MLS right now in the hottest real estate market of like the last 50 years.
Mm-hmm.
And they've had an 8-plex willing to sell and seller carry, willing to not even like, who cares about your credit history? You want to get into multifamily? People are always saying, I want to get into multifamily. I'm going to give this guy $5,000 so I can syndicate with his fund. Go do that. Have fun with that. How about you just go to the MLS and buy a freaking 8-plex on seller finance? They've completely overlooked these. It's 8 units of 2-bed, 1 bath. It'll cash flow like crazy. And it's been on the market 600 days. Insane. How long did it take you to find that?
I mean, I was just submitting some docs for a couple of refinances. And while I was like waiting for this thing to upload, I went on the MLS. I'm like, let me just see what's on the MLS for seller finances. And I just scrolled through. So a couple minutes.
So while everybody else, including me, are watching YouTube videos and like entertaining ourselves, Cody's over there looking at properties on seller finance on the MLS. That's like his side hobby. It wasn't even like an intentional thing. He's just naturally doing it, right? How interesting would that be that you guys just get so used to, comping and looking at deals that you just run into these types of things just naturally while you're catching up with emails and paperwork. That's freaking dope. So guys, don't sleep on that stuff. Okay. How do I own a title company and a VA company like y'all?
That's a very specific question.
That's a very specific question. I'll answer that one really quick. Here's how you do it. You do a lot of deals. Step 1, do a lot of deals. Step 2, get kicked in the crotch a lot of times. And then step 3, gain credibility by helping other people get deals as well. Step 4, hire VAs, learn through trial tribulation of what works, what doesn't work for years. And then finally accumulate enough money that you could start a VA company with a couple $100,000. That's the answer. I mean, this is why people don't talk about it. It's really challenging. It's really hard. We have a friend that just started a virtual assistant business a couple of weeks ago. He called me up. They're like 5 months into the business. He's like, man, we're refunding all of our customers their money back. We can't seem to make everybody happy. Our VAs are not, I'm like, has nothing to do with your VAs, has nothing to do with your customers, has to do with you don't know what you're doing. Like, it's hard. Business is hard. It's meant to be hard. It weeds out the knucklehead. So that's an interesting question, MJ Wade, but I do appreciate it.
I mean, the thing too that I'd say on that as well is that, like, you start a core business and you build off of your core business. It's like you don't just go start something that doesn't really make sense. Like you got to have something that's kind of your foundation as well.
Cody, this is a loaded question. What would you do with 37 acres at 145,000? Do you deal with reconstructions?
I mean, my first question would be, where is that 37 acres? And then my second question would be reconstruction. Wouldn't it just be construction if it's land, or is it tearing down property and then rebuilding it? And then I saw there's another question about buying land in Georgia. I mean,
we're not really buying land right now. I DM'd a lot of people. If you guys want to do land deals, let me give you a very specific answer for land, and we're going to put a fork in the land conversation for the night, because I'm seeing a lot of land stuff. Reach out to sub 2 students. Okay, we have multiple people in our mentorship in sub 2, Matt Rogers being one of them, that specialize in land. Okay, they specialize in land nationwide. Reach out to my sub 2 students and deal with land with them. Here's the challenge. Okay, Cody and I have enough opportunity. Cody, Matt, and I have enough opportunity that development and construction, past a very basic remodel of a fix and flip, they're not interesting to us because they slow our process down for the business model that we have chosen. Very simple. Let me say that one more time. If you give us a development, okay, like for example, I've got a 50 home development up north that I've been dealing with for almost as long as Cody's met me. And it's my profitability on that thing is going to be $1 million. Okay. Personally. And it's a deal Cody's not involved in. It's a deal I was working before, not before, but kind of the same time him and I were starting to link up. That's been 2 years of the slowest agony, permits and contractors. And yes, it's profitable, and yes, it's fun, but it's nowhere near the speed of just doing a really quick fix and flip, right? Write this down, everybody. Velocity of money. Velocity of money. We are at a phase in our business right now where we want quicker hits, right? We want a lot more base hits. We want a lot more second base hits. We're not looking for home runs every single time. And so I see people that go buy 37 acres and they're like, we're going to do this massive development. I'm like, that is a different league. That's a different league of people that you can assemble people together like Matt Rogers and other people that will go develop that land, like Ken Van Loo and other people. Guys, go reach out to my sub 2 students and say, hey, will you partner with me on this land? I want to have nothing to do with land. Cody wants to have nothing to do with land right now. Right now. Usually it's the first quarter or the second quarter of the year that we'll look at land. But towards the end of the year, the only thing we're looking at is bigger purchases like buildings, things that we can utilize right away and we can cash flow. We're not interested in putting money, time, resources, Cody's brain power into figuring out what are we going to do with this property and deal with the city. Because by the time we can get 1 acre developed, Cody and I could have probably done a dozen fix and flipped and made $500,000 to $600,000 with an automated system. I mean, Cody, how often do you, Matt, or myself go to any of the fix and flips?
Only to do YouTube videos.
That's it. So we go to our fix and flips for YouTube videos to help you guys understand what the process is. Meanwhile, we're making a couple $100,000 a month on fix and flip. So it's an automated process. We have employees, we have people in place. We're not interested in developing land. Does it mean there's not a ton of money in it? No, it means go find somebody that likes that stuff. It's not our forte. In fact, it slows us down. Okay.
Yeah. And it's like, I think, it's also like good, better, best. Like, yeah, is that a good opportunity? This is a better one. What's the best opportunity? That's what we always have to be looking at. And people can get distracted. It's like, oh, one day I could, it's like, why don't we buy a Little Caesars franchise? Oh, why don't we buy this, weird commercial building and redevelop it? And it's like, you got to get momentum, and it's hard to get momentum if you're changing what you're doing all the time.
Yeah. So Jonathan Newsom says, would you guys be interested in a 30-unit single family rental portfolio in Virginia Beach? So, probably yes, 100%. But here's the thing, like, I had the greatest call. You know, that $10 million portfolio that I'm negotiating in the
Yeah.
last couple of days.
I was like, is this the same guy? Like,
Yeah, it's a different guy. That guy has 120 tenants. Phenomenal call. 45-minute call. It's like such high level creative finance conversation with this seller today that I'm so ecstatic. Guys, if you want access to the recording, it's a 45-minute recording. I'm going to share it with all my sub 2 students today tonight in the Facebook group. Hit up a sub 2 student, squad up with one of them, and they'll share that specific recording with you so you can see. But what's interesting is that the person who brought it to me was like, you're not going to overcome this seller's objections. He's very smart. He's very savvy. And I overcame all of his objections. And at the end, the seller goes, wow, like it's going to be such a great recording for people to watch. Cause the seller's like, no, 35 minutes of straight no's. And then it's 10 minutes of, wow, I like that idea. Wow. I like that idea. Wow. I like I say all of this because we don't have time right now to negotiate with your sellers. If you have a deal that your sellers are like, I'm ready to go, here's my down payment or amount that I want, here's this, here's that, and they're ready to sell in seller finance, we will jump on it. But if it's like, will you call my sellers? Guys, we don't have time to like do follow-up and stuff for your sellers. We got our own deals we're working on. It's not that we won't do it. It's just that we're really targeted on acquiring another $4, maybe $5 million before the end of the year. Closed deal by the end of the year. I don't want to be under contract by November or contract by October. And Cody, why is that? Why do we need to have all of them closed, not under contract, but closed before the end of the year?
they have to be closed so we can use them as write-offs for the year of 2021. We can't, if they close in 2022, yeah, that helps us for next year's taxes, but we have a certain number that we need to hit this year. So basically our year ends November 30th. That's the end of our year, because most of those deals that we contract in December, maybe a couple could slide through, but most are not going to close until January.
Love it. Brian Catalang says probably won't buy in California, right?
Maybe an Airbnb.
Only an Airbnb. Only an Airbnb. Not multifamily, not hotels, nothing that the government can come in and mess around with us. Your guys' government. So
probably just not even California.
Yeah, probably not. If it's an Airbnb, yeah, for sure.
Mm-hmm.
Lynn Monet says, what advice do you have for if you wholesale or flip income but can't qualify as a real estate professional? You're talking about the tax advantages of being a real estate professional. I'm curious, if you are wholesaling and you are fixing and flipping, why would you not be able to qualify as a real estate professional, Lynn?
I think you have to be 700 hours of your year has to be able to be recorded working as a real estate professional to get those as write-offs. As far as
right, but you have to consider this. You could technically, the way I've read the code, you could technically do one fix and flip and spend all the other hours in educating yourself, talking to sellers, working on your business, and you could do one fix and flip, and that 700 hours can be applied for that one fix and flip. Like, we're not talking specifically you have to do all 700 hours inside of just that fix and flip, right? It's the entire business as a whole. Like, are you educating yourself? Are you joining mentorships? Are you paying for things? Are you spending time on YouTube? Are you subscribing to Sunday service? Are you doing all those things? Those things actually work. Okay. So, Real Cal says, what are the pros and cons using creative finance with condos, Cody?
I mean, creative finance is just, but creative finance is just an acquisition strategy. So there's not a pro or con that's going to be really different from a condo to a mobile home to a single family home. I mean, maybe on mobile homes because it's harder to get financing. Condos, certain condos have guidelines where certain types of financing can't qualify for the community based on HOA rules. So it's a good way to acquire the property, but I don't think there's necessarily a con behind using creative finance to buy it. But like Bilal is saying here, HOAs usually kill deals for condos. Yeah, I just looked at one. Actually, Tyler on our team sent me one to look at on Friday, and I'm like, dang, it'd be nice to use it as a rental, or, just something to, get towards that tax, get rid of that tax burden that we have. But the cash flow is killed with the homeowners or the HOA, the homeowners association, so high on those a lot of the time.
Love it. Okay. Good questions in here. Reefer Hippie's got a lot of weed questions. I like it. I like it. Let's see here. Christina Solara says, hey guys, if you're serious about squatting up, anyway, use your real name so the other professionals know who you are. I cannot shout this loud enough. People just don't seem to listen. They actually it seems like they get offended. I get a lot of people that go, hey, I'm not able to squat up in your YouTube stuff. Like you tell me to come to the podcast to meet other people. And then I'm like, your name is like Sasquatch Investor. How are people don't resonate with that. They don't remember that. I don't come home like off of YouTube, like a YouTube live, and tell my wife, babe, oh my gosh, you wouldn't believe it. I'm meeting up tomorrow with this guy I met in the YouTube comments. And my wife says, well, oh my gosh, what's his name? Oh, his name's Sasquatch Investor. He's like, I'm so excited about meeting him. Guys, come on. Use your real name. The most important thing you can brand is your own individual name. You need people to know who you are and what you're about, because that's how you'll raise private capital. That's how you'll get joint venture deals. That's how you'll do a whole bunch of things in life. Brand your personal government name. And if you're worried about your friends and family, think like, Cody, why do you think that is? You think people are worried about their friends and family thinking that they're like an investor now
doing this real estate thing? I mean, maybe they just don't know what they don't know. And I mean, so here's a couple. I'm not the best branding guy. Pace is the better branding guy than I am, but a couple easy tips. If you have a profile picture on anything, maybe a picture of your face so you become recognizable. Maybe having your real name on YouTube or having your real name on Facebook and not a picture of your dog. Like, I love dogs. They're great, but like, you're engaging with other people on social media. The more you're able to show your face and you have your real name, the more they can feel like they can connect with you better. Like, that's just a quick like branding thing. Like, stop doing crap with, unless you own a brand like Pace with sub 2, that's synonymous almost, where people hear sub 2, they think Pace's name. But if you don't have a brand like that, you can't really, put a weird name on social media and expect for people to build trust and credibility around having conversations with you very easily. Like, you're going to have to go a little bit further than maybe you just smiling and, having your real name.
Well, if you look at Tanisha, who's like I'm trying to hire her right now, by the way. I'm texting her back and forth. I'm like, I want to hire you full time. I am. She's that amazing. So guys, if you're trying to connect with one of the sub 2 students, reach out to Tanisha. She's unbelievable. I mean, all the other sub 2 students in here are awesome, but just specifically using Tanisha as an example, I use her name all the time in all of our Zooms, right? So all the students know her. People know her on Sunday service because I use her real name. Her real name is going to sit in your brain, whereas like Sasquatch Investor is not going to sit in people's name. You guys think it is. It's not. I promise you. And the other thing is like, let's talk about this for just a second. We could talk about branding for an hour, 2 hours, 3 hours. Nobody cares about your company name. Okay. Your company name is seller facing. Okay. Your company name is seller facing, which means the only people that care about your company name is nobody. Nobody cares. You're going to do one transaction with a seller. They don't care about what your company name is. 99% of the time, sellers aren't going to say, what's the name of your company? Especially if you have confidence. So what are you branding your company name for? Do you see people on stage or on YouTube or writing books based on like Sasquatch home buyers? No, it's the owner of the company. Brand your personal name. Brand your personal name. Stop it. It doesn't work. In this industry, it doesn't work. In fact, I would love to know an industry where your brand, besides food, what brand actually carries forward. And by the way, I don't know the owner of Pepsi or Coke or anything like that. I know those companies, right? In this business, you need to know the individual. I don't want to know you as the craft single guy. I want to know you as Cody Barton. And then through what you talk about most frequently, you then can brand yourself, right? So like for us, Sub 2 was never about a mentorship. Sub 2 for us was always about a community that we're building. Cody, Matt, myself, all of the students, it's a community that we're building together. It's I got a call from influencer this morning. A well-known guy, everybody knows him, calls me up and he goes, "Man, I am so trying to build a similar community to what you and your partners have done." And in the back of my mind, before he even finishes a sentence, I'm like chuckling, ha ha ha. Ha ha ha. That ain't gonna happen. It is so much hard work and energy and years of sacrifice and getting smacked in the face with that brand doesn't work, or this idea didn't work, or this you don't have the ability to do some of the things you want to do right now because they cost money or whatever. Guys, we built a community and then we branded it. Okay. Cody, Matt, myself, everybody that's around us in our vortex, we've been providing value to people in our local market for years. Okay. Even well before Cody and I linked up, we were individually providing value. And so we provided value with our own individual names. And then at some point, we then started branding ourselves from a company standpoint. And it was never a company. It was always a community. It was a collective community. So when people think Sub 2 now, this is what I'm trying to shift the mindset to, but it's going to take a couple more years and it is working. And the reason I brought up that influencers to bring that up is that people are looking at Sub 2 or Zero to Hero, our entire community, what we've been building as an actual community, not a brand or not as a company. Okay. People resonate with things that, are a little bit more down to earth and something that can help them directly. So Sub 2 has always been, the goal was always to build a community like no other. And if you're a Sub 2 student, you know that feeling. If you're a mastermind student, you know that feeling. If you're a Zero to Hero member, you know that feeling. By the way, Zero to Hero launched, right, to 500 people.
Yeah, I think tonight's the last night that I think Matt's closing it down tonight, just to be able to make sure that everybody that got involved already.
Do you want to put the link in there just in case there's people in here that are still interested in that? Okay, so our
Real Cow Hero though, Pace. Like I know there's probably some people that are like, what is that?
Look at Alejandro Alvarez. I can tell you he's another gentleman. He's in Texas. So guys, if you're in Texas, and here's the thing is I get to know all of my students. We have thousands of students, but I get to know all of them. The thing is, they're not students to me. I have to call them students so people know what they actually are. But to us, they're our family, right? And I'm not going to remember people's name if they say, "Hey, Pace, I just joined your mentorship. My name is Sasquatch Home Buyers." I remember Alejandro Alvarez's first phone call to me. I remember his first question he ever asked me in our group Zoom. He had a deal he was working out in the center of Dallas, not Dallas, but a couple hours away from Dallas. It was a creative finance deal. It was his first creative finance deal. He kept coming on the Zooms. We structured all the way through it. He crushed the deal. He actually felt like he was worried about selling it, sells it. Then his entire mindset changed and he's like, I feel like I undersold it. It's so funny how that mindset shift after you get that first deal done. But I remember every word that Alejandro Alvarez and I have said to each other, and I hear all these amazing things about him behind the scenes, about how many people he's helping and he's calling sellers. Guys, if you need somebody to call your sellers, Alejandro Alvarez is one of my students that will do that for you. And the reason I'm saying this is, one, because Alejandro deserves it. Two, because he's branding his personal name. I want you guys to know him as a human being so he can help you on a human being level. Okay. By the way, Tanisha says, message me on Facebook to squad up. By the way, guys, don't reach out to the students to ask them basic questions you could find on YouTube. Go on YouTube. The reason why we built Sub 2 in the community is to answer questions that can't be answered on YouTube, to answer questions that nobody talks about behind the scenes. Even, dude, I was on Bigger Pockets yesterday or 2 days ago on Friday. Okay. Mm-hmm. The guy who wrote the book on lease options, I told him the story about our deal on Lost Dutchman, where we had the due on sale clause, and then we repurchased it with a lease option with an automatic renewal, and the option fee, or the option price is the price of the mortgage after 30 years, like that whole thing. And he's like, I wrote the book on lease options and I've never heard that strategy. This is insane. He's like taking notes. So guys, those are the things that are talked about behind the scenes. You don't necessarily need that right now. What you need is you need some people to squat up with. Go squat up with our students, bring them leads. If you don't have leads, don't reach out to my students. Learn how to generate leads before you call people, because I'm going to be honest, you're providing zero value by just asking people questions and saying, let's squat up. Squat up with what? I have all the information and I can close sellers and I can structure deals as a sub 2 student or a mastermind student. What do you have? Oh, well, I have a desire to learn and I will do everything in my power to do everything in my power. Okay, that doesn't do us any good. Learn how to generate leads. Go learn how to generate leads. A great way to generate leads is, I would say, probably the best way to learn how to generate leads is zerotohero.rei.com, honestly. But if you don't have leads, don't reach out to people for help. In fact, Cody, when you first reached out to me for help, what was your question?
I mean, my question was, I have leads that I'm already generating and I want to get help closing these leads, but can I bring these leads to you for you to be able to close them? I just want to be able to watch you close them. I don't need to make any money, but I just want to see how that process goes so then I can be better myself.
So here's the thing is, like, I'm going to put a final button on this because I don't want to go too long on it. And obviously we've gone too long on it. But the branding thing, guys, is really important. People need to know who you are. And I don't mean to, demoralize anybody or make them feel like they've got a name that is really, really cool, which that's not the topic. We're not talking about whether your name is cool. Here's the question. Will your name get people to remember who you are so that they will bring you more opportunities? Right? I'm a little bitty person on the beach. I'm a teeny little grain of sand on the beach. I'm nowhere big, but I have a name that if I go into a RIA or I go to like an investment club and I say, hey, my name's Pace Morby, I'm looking for a deal, I'll get a line of 3 or 4 people that want to talk to me, right? Because they've heard my name before. And I'm nobody. And that's not a derogatory term. It's just simply, it reminds me that I have a lot more growth. I have a lot more potential than where we currently are. Same thing with Cody. If you say Cody's name at a real estate investment club here, local in Arizona, or for that matter, all over the country, people will go, oh, Cody Barton. Oh, yeah, I know Cody Barton, right? They're not going to use your name if your name is Sasquatch Homebuyers. You need to ask yourself this question. The way you're branding yourself, will people remember you long-term? 1, and 2, will they bring you opportunities based on your company's name? Because at the end of the day, if we shot off all of our marketing, Cody, and me, you, and Matt, we shut off all of our marketing, could we still do 10 deals a month?
100%.
That seems low. Probably we could, if we just did JV, that's all our focus on. I'm not joking. We'd probably do 20 deals a month. Right? We weren't direct to seller. We weren't doing anything else. We were just doing joint venture. We've branded ourselves as people who want to help in the community. Therefore, people want to leverage our skills, and they bring a lead, we close it, or we buy it, or whatever it is. Guys, you gotta remember that that's what branding is about, is that you're showing people who you are and what you're about. That's what branding is. It's not about how to be cool and have a, what do you have? What kind of car do you have? A Porsche?
Yeah, a Porsche.
It's not cool. It's not trying to be cool and have a Porsche. That is a side benefit of it. But branding has nothing to do with any of that stuff, okay? It's how many deals can I do based on my name? Then you get the Porsche. By the way, let's take a vote in the side chat. What should Cody's next car be? What were your 2 choices?
McLaren 570S Spider or Lamborghini Huracan.
The Huracan is not a Spider though, right?
No, not a Spider on the Huracan.
So at the end of the day, you got a convertible option and a non-convertible option.
Yes, because I don't really like the soft top Lamborghini.
Got it. So say them one more time for everybody.
Lamborghini Huracan or McLaren 570S Spider.
So what's cool about this, guys, is Cody has actually figured out how to basically car hack. Like your cars are costing you almost nothing, right?
Yeah, very, very, very little.
Like your Porsche, which is like $190,000 car, is going to cost you less money than a Toyota Prius, essentially, at the end of the day.
Yeah, just by getting into the right one with the right specs, the right mods, and then being able to drive it a certain amount of mileage and selling it all in the right timing.
People throwing out some stuff. Let's see. Chick cars, dude. Huh? What?
You like trucks? Usually people, when they say that to me, they're like, oh, like you should get a souped up truck or something. I'm like, I'm not a truck guy. So
I can, here's the thing is I appreciate those cars so much that Cody drives and he's into them. I love them. I would love to have one. The problem is I have a little girl that spills milk all the time. And like, I'm not about to have a Porsche that smells like rotten milk. You know what I'm saying?
Oh, that'd be rough.
So, all right, let's jump into a couple of things. Ooh, a lot of people voting, dude. I love it. Love it. A lot of people voting. Ingrid says Sasquatch Homebuyers is going to be Zero to Hero 2.0 business name. We are going to be doing season 2 of Zero to Hero in the next couple of weeks. Season 2 of Zero to Hero is the next couple of weeks. We've changed up what we're doing with Zero to Hero, guys. If you haven't heard of what Zero to Hero is, let me tell you. We get so many people that are like, how do I start in real estate? 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 It is the literal most received DM that we all get. How do I get started? How do I get started? And that's not really what they're asking, because the reality is that you could go to YouTube, you could read a book, you could go to a seminar, you could do all these things. You want somebody, and this is why people join mentorships, is you want somebody to take you by the hand and guide you through your steps, right? Okay, well, let's say short of that, you don't want to do that. Well, what we did is we created a challenge for ourselves where we start a brand new business with no resources, no employees, no leads, no contracts. We've never done a deal in that area. And we start that business live, and we let everybody watch. Not everybody. Last time we just let the sub 2 students watch live, but the sub 2 students got to watch live 3 hours a day for 3 weeks while Matt, Cody, and myself, primarily Matt, because Matt was the one like running the show, go out and get a bunch of contracts in a brand new market. And we started with 0. We ended up becoming a hero by day 8. We got our first contract direct to seller on day 8. That's 0 to Hero is what we've been doing. So the first season of 0 to Hero is direct to seller. Okay. So we were marketing direct to seller, meaning we were cold calling, texting, all of those things. And now season 2, we're going to be showing people how to start a real estate business, how to get started in real estate with no budget. No budget. Now, it's going to be a little bit of a lie, because the reality is we have GoPros and we have cameras and we have a cameraman that's going to follow us around, and that's going to cost us money. But outside the documentation and the live streaming of showing you guys exactly how to do it, Matt and I are going to physically go out into the field for 0 to Hero season 2. Okay. Season 2 is going to be 0 to Hero out in the field, no budget. We got to start from scratch. We got to go get wholesale deals. We got to get sub 2 deals. We got to get seller finance deals. We got to get fix and flips. We got to do all that stuff. We're going to show you guys really honestly, because I'm going to be really honest. We're just sick of answering the question of how to get started in real estate. It's like now when people DM me how to get started, I just go 0 to Hero REI.com. Now that's answered exactly step by step by step by step by step. And if you can't follow that, then you don't deserve to be in the business. You want to hear something interesting? So I'm making macaroni and cheese. Okay. You know those little cups of macaroni and cheese, like you pull the top off, you put the water in.
Yep.
So I'm like, I'm making it, and I put the water in, I microwave it, I bring it out, I put it on the thing, and I'm not making it for myself. My little girl loves it. Corbin loves it. So I then like go to the sink and I start pouring the water out of the container. Okay. And there's always somebody has a comment about something. It's always great. I love it. So I say, my wife goes, "What are you doing?" I go, "Well, there's too much water in here." She goes, "Isn't there a line that tells you where to not fill the water up past? Why are you pouring the water out?" And I go, "Oh, there's a line in here that tells me where I should." And I look at the side of the container and it says, "Do not fill past this line." What I did is I filled it all the way to the brim, throw it in the microwave, and then I pull it out and I like pour the water out, and I'm trying to like gauge and guess, and I'm doing all this extra work that I don't need to be freaking doing, right? So I'm like, I am dumb. Like, I am just like any other human being. So guys, when I say stuff like I said 3 or 4 minutes ago, by no means am I being critical. I'm just pointing out a very obvious fact. Okay. Nobody pays attention. I didn't even pay attention on a macaroni and cheese container, and I'm 38 years old. Okay. We want things happening fast for us right now, step by step. Show me how to make that macaroni and cheese. And that's essentially what Zero to Hero is. Zero to Hero is showing you guys exactly where to fill the water to so that you pull it out, you put the cheese in it, and you enjoy it. That's it. We can still show you the step by step. Okay. Zero to Hero REI.com. So Matt and I are going to be doing out in the field on that one. Once I finish filming the TV show, by the way, Cody was on the TV show a couple weeks ago. That's going to be cool. Steve Train came on the TV show. Matt Beard is going to be coming on the TV show, I believe, this week, which will be fun. And Jamil and I are going to be done filming in about 3 weeks, and I will become a real boy once again.
It's going to be great. What are you going to do with all your free time?
You know what I'm doing with my free time. I talked to you about it today. It's a very big secret. I want to wait until we sign that whole thing before I announce it, but that's what I'm going to be doing.
I love it.
Yes. So, guys, we've got about, we're going to go 10 more minutes. Sorry, guys. I went on a big macaroni and cheese, analogy, but let's go another 10 minutes. Actually, Cody, here's what I think we should do for next week. I want to talk to you specifically because, did you see my post this morning on my Instagram?
Which one?
The one about I woke up at 2:30, stop whining, you little biatch.
Yes. Yep. I did see that.
So I get a lot of people that are like, I can't start in real estate because I'm so busy and my job takes up a lot of my time. My 30-hour-a-week job takes a lot of my time, you know? I get that all the time. Like, yeah, you're rich. You're rich. Of course you could do everything. You're rich. Or people are just sour. You know what I'm saying? Anyway, I start talking to this guy. I'd say 90% of the DMs that I get about those comments are like, man, this inspires me. I want to go 10x harder. I realize now I'm not doing enough. And I get this guy, he starts DMing me about my daily and my weekly schedule. And I was like, honestly, the person you should talk to about that, the person that's probably the smartest about their daily or weekly schedule is Cody Barton. And I'm like, we should have him talk about his daily, his weekly schedule, specifically on Sunday service, and give that value to people of like, I would do too. If I'm brand new, what should my week look like? Right. Mm-hmm. Or better yet, what we should do is get somebody from the audience as a guest on the show next week. And we go through what they do. What we do is we tell them to document everything they do throughout the week and then provide it to us on the show. And we'll go through and critique them and go, hey, you probably don't need to be spending so much time over at the, at Walmart picking up girls, whatever it is that you're doing. But then structure their week and tell them what they should be doing in those times, because I think a lot of people would make time available, but they don't know what to do. Would you be open to doing something like that?
Yeah, that'd be fun. I'd love that.
Because what is there a book or is there a strategy that you use on a weekly basis right now that you're like, this is why I do what I do on a weekly basis?
More so like I do, the thing called Smart Day, Smart Week, which I can go into that on next week's call, which is kind of how I do the review for the day, identifying what things are important, kind of looking at where am I at, and then doing a more in-depth version of that on a weekly basis.
This is what we're going to do. We're going to run a contest. Okay. Oh, look at Alex. This is funny. Alex, these are the comments I appreciate. These funny ones. That. I volunteer as tribute. That's hilarious.
Hunger Games.
Seriously, dude.
Dude, I love those movies. Like my go-to when I just want to like just lay on the couch and just basically just relax is Hunger Games. So good.
Yeah. Okay, so let's see. Who wants to be beat up? Colleen says, Pace did 5 loads of laundry. Yes, I did. And I put the clothes away. Here's the thing. Here's the other thing. I put the clothes away. It was like 2:30 in the morning. My wife comes into the closet because we have a washer or dryer in our closet. And my wife's like, I'm just going to close this closet because I can hear you while I'm sleeping. I was like, I love you. I'm so sorry I woke you up. But I was putting clothes away. Like I was putting clothes away while the laundry was going. I'm listening to Tony Robbins. I'm listening to stuff. I'm accomplishing 3 things at the same time. Then I work myself downstairs. I take the trash out. I could go on and on of all the things that I did today. Tons of stuff. And then by the time, 7:00 rolls around, Laura wakes up. She's got a podcast she's on every Sunday morning with Michael Zuber. And so I get to take the baby to Starbucks and it's like 8:00 and I've accomplished everything that most people are like dreading to accomplish by the end of their day. And I would say, honestly, I'm not even the greatest person at time management. It would be Cody. Cody is absolutely number 1 in my mind. So I think we should do a whole Sunday service on time management next week. I think we should do 30 minutes for somebody that's brand new. Like Cody gives them specific advice, and then 30 minutes for somebody who's in the business. Would you be open to that?
I'm down to that. Let's do it. I would say, for the sake of time management, I'm like 30 minutes and 30 minutes. We're going to go for an hour and a half because there's going to be like this like interval in the beginning, in the middle, and the end. So I'm like 20 minutes, 20 minutes. If we want to keep it.
How about this? We'll make it a 2-part series. We'll do the first person. We'll give them like 45 minutes and we'll have 7 minutes and 7 minutes at the beginning and end. We'll finish it at the end of an hour. I think next week we start with, I've never done a deal. What should I be doing on a weekly basis to go get my first deal? And don't deviate from this until you get a deal.
I love that. Let's do it.
How do we announce that? How do we figure out who that person is? Should we have Kelly?
We got to pick someone. Yeah, we got to pick someone. I think maybe we could pick somebody from the group that just got started with 0 to hero.
It's a great idea. I kind of feel like if you're a 0 to hero or you're a sub 2 student, you shouldn't be selected. And the reason being is because you already have access to 0 to hero, and 0 to hero tells you exactly what to do. Like literally, don't fill the water up past this point, you dummy. Oh, here's the difference between 0 to hero and a book. If I'm reading a book, it's like I'm reading instructions on the side of a macaroni and cheese thing. But if I'm part of 0 to hero, somebody's showing me and physically like, here's the cup. Watch me fill the water up. Watch me do it. Yep. Are you watching? Watch me. Okay, here we go. Now it's going to go in the microwave. That's 0 to hero. So do you feel like that's really the target, or do we go to somebody who is like, they're new to the Creative Finance Facebook page. They're new to maybe Cody's YouTube channel. They're like, I've never actually, let's do that. Why don't we get somebody new on Cody's YouTube channel? Here's how many subscribers you got right now?
2,500.
What's the actual number you're at?
Oh, the actual number? Shoot, hang on. It's like 20. Let me pull up the little studio. It's just under 2,500, but
okay. So then this is what we're gonna do. The
2,457.
Okay, so we're gonna have Kelly select the 2500 or 20. Is that it? 2500.
At 25, whatever the 2,500 number is. Yes, that's the
thing. We're gonna have Kelly select them. Okay.
Okay.
We're going to have Kelly select that person. So guys, if you're not subscribed to Cody's YouTube channel, please go do that. We'll have that person get selected. And if they say, no, I can't make it, we'll find somebody else. Okay. Next week, we're going to do time management for a beginner. And Stacy Cooper says, I'm new to everything. Okay. Well, are you new to Cody Barton's YouTube channel? Because you should be. And if you are on there, then you'll get selected. One of the most that's what it is. It's not going to be the 500th person. It's going to end up being somebody in that general vicinity because Kelly will have to randomly select somebody. So guys, go subscribe. We can see who's subscribing, like the most recent subscribers. Go subscribe. Kelly Hanno will choose the person and reach out to you, get you set up with a link. We'll have you on the show. And then the following week, we're going to do somebody who's already been in the business, who's actively doing a couple of deals. How can we adjust? How can we help you out? What are things that you're not doing that you should be doing? And how would Cody structure your week? So Cody, does that sound like a good plan?
Love it. Let's do it.
All right, guys, this was a good Sunday service. Next week, time management for a beginner. What should I be doing until I get my first deal? That's the topic of next week's show. So thank you guys so much. Cody, any final words?
I mean, it's Labor Day tomorrow, but take advantage of that day that a lot of people aren't going to be working and get to work tomorrow, guys. Have an amazing week. If you are driving to and from work or to and from appointments, you can listen to Sunday Service on Spotify and iTunes. Just search Sunday Service and you can find us on there. And I'm excited to see who gets chosen for next week, and we'll see you guys next Sunday.
That'll be really good. Here's something I'm going to give you guys one piece of advice. People go and have a great time on Labor Day, right? They do like barbecues, they go play golf, they go do all those kind of things. They see their family members, whatever. That's great. What I would advise for you to do is if you're going to go play golf, you're going to go have some beers, you're going to have some barbecue, you're going to do all those things, and you're going to have fun, go do it with people who are trying to get into the real estate business as well. Because tomorrow, Cody, Matt, and myself are going to go play some golf. I have a country club membership. We use probably not even 1/10 as much as we should be using. But we are going to go play golf at the country club on Labor Day, let off some steam, have some fun, but you're doing it with people you're making money with, and you're building each other's family legacies together. So don't miss out on the opportunity to have some fun, but couple it with what Cody's talking about. Other people aren't working. Go have fun with people who are also in line with what you're trying to accomplish. Squat up with people in your local geographical area, and we'll see you guys on next week's Sunday service.